Hello, welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace reporting live at this year's 2025 Syracuse International Jazz Festival here in Congo Square here in downtown Syracuse. Blessing the band stage is a.k.a. Jazz Master and Big Chief Donald Harrison. Now, Donald Harrison has a very important festival that he put together called Donald Harrison's Quantum Leap Music Festival, which takes place on Long Island later in August. We had a chance to sit down and talk about this brand new festival, which has some very iconic as well as stellar artists, ranging from the great Leo Nosatelli to the Headhunters. But we also sit down and talk about and reflect on the life of Dr. John, who Donald has over 1 million streams for the album that he collaborated with Dr. John titled Indian Blues. And we also sit down and break bread and talk about the Congo Square Suite, which is a suite of Afro-New Orleans cultural music meets classical orchestra music and jazz. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Big Chief, a.k.a. Jazz Master, Donald Harrison, live from this year's 2025 Syracuse International Jazz Festival here in downtown Clinton Square here in Syracuse. You know, every time we get together, Don Cornelius says it's a Stone Cold Gas. Thank you, my man. I want to start this interview off by highlighting something that you're doing in August. You have a music festival that's at a vineyard in Long Island. Tell everybody about this.
Yeah, we put together the second annual Donald Harrison's Quantum Leap Music Festival, and mostly deals with New Orleans music, but also we have some other acts. It's an eclectic trip around grooving music, dance music, chill music, and of course some jazz that takes listeners on another kind of trip. We're bringing sort of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival and Newport and a little bit of Lollapalooza into one space on Long Island. Long Island's first winery, the Borghese Winery, so it's a historic place, and I think a presentation of historical music.
Why did you choose the vineyard?
Well, it wasn't my choice, it was the promoter's choice, but when I got out there, I loved it because it's a foodie destination because of the fact that they have 55 farm-to-table restaurants out there, all congregated in one place. So the food experience is unparalleled, I think, maybe in the world, but in America that many are in one area. And of course has some of the greatest wine that's being produced globally. It's California, New York, now rivals other places, in my estimation. And you got the beaches, and you know, can't beat it.
So you can be you're presenting music for the whole entire day. So this is like a whole 4 days of 6-7 acts per day.
Yeah, and you know, you go on the website and choose a day, or you can get a weekend pass and you can see all of the acts and have a Eastern Long Island experience and have some great music along with it.
I'm gonna name some of the acts. You got the Headhunters, you've got Cyril Neville, you've got Zaccai Curtis, Leo Nocentelli of the Meters, and the one I'm looking forward to checking out is the Quantum Leap Music Festival All-Stars.
Oh yeah, Jam Band All-Stars. You know, I've been around the jam band world, and so we're putting together a jam band all-star band that's gonna funkify your life. We got one of the greatest funk drummers. He's from New Orleans that maybe a lot of people don't know, but they should, because he's been, you know, with Dr. John and a great funky group called the Dumpster Funk. He was a drummer of that group. So we got all of those people at the festival this year, but I agree, the band to come see is the
that all-star band. That all-star band. You know, we're talking about Dr. John. One of the albums that you did, Indian Blues.
Right.
My understanding is just he was only going to do a couple songs. He ended up doing the whole record with you.
Yeah, he came in, and you know, we had asked him, "Can you come do a couple of songs with us as a special guest?" Because I thought he would fit in the concept. And when he heard what I had put together with the jazz, the R&B, soul, and funk, New Orleans music all fused together, he didn't want to leave. So we were inspired by each other, and he played on every song and then suggested some songs that we played as a duet. And I'm happy to say now, when I looked at the Spotify numbers, it's got a 1.5 million streams. That's a lot of streams for a jazz record, you know.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
It's a really great album. I mean, New Orleans has a very special place in music history. The backline, piano players, horn players. What is it about the piano players that differentiate from all parts of the United States?
Well, we would have to start with Jelly Roll Morton, who set the standard for really for what jazz piano could be. And you can hear the influence of Jelly Roll Morton and people like Benny Moten, who was the father of Count Basie, and Duke Ellington as well. And of course, I hear it in the music of Thelonious Monk. So, you know, his influence is unprecedented. And we love what he did. And then, you know, new guys like Alan Toussaint, who came along and revolutionized what soul and funk could be from New Orleans. And Professor Longhair.
Yeah.
These are the new generation, of course, were influenced by him as well. So his influence is decades and still going strong.
Right, right. You have Congo Square Suite, and this is a suite of Afro-New Orleans cultural music, and it's really what we call musical gumbo of Black American music. Tell everybody about this project.
Well, that project is 3 movements, but each movement is a different style of music. The first movement is a traditional chant based on the music of Congo Square and ancient African music fused together, you know, bringing it back home, because Congo Square was a place where Africans could participate in their culture. The second movement is a classical movement that's influenced by the music of Congo Square. The third movement is a jazz piece with the classical orchestra, the Moscow Symphony Orchestra, as well as influence from Congo Square as well. So it's a natural progression to show you how I put orchestral music into a jazz setting. And the next record that we're releasing also is what I call multi-genre music, multi-genre singles. It's one song played in 9 different styles of music. It's called The Magic Touch. So that's you can listen to it on my website now, but it'll be available very soon to purchase. But you know, the first 8 styles on that piece are true to the genres, which are some genres like hip hop, soul music, New Orleans second line, bossa nova, roots reggae, and various styles of music. But the 9th version mixes the first 8 styles of music into a new jazz director.
How long did it take you to put that together?
It took years because I had to find all the right players, but we got it done, and I'm very proud of what came out of it.
That's good. That's good. Is there a connection now with the way the world is going right now to keep this music out? Because it seems like we're in an era now where they want to erase everything that we've contributed to this culture, to this country. What are we doing, and what are you doing as an educator, especially person on the band stage, and the music that you're putting out now?
Well, we know that trying to erase the influence of a great people, it doesn't work, because there's always somebody who realizes what's going on, and there's always that fair person who makes that available to everyone. So, you know, just get up every day, I think, for people like myself and fair-minded, what I call human beings, people who want to be human beings, put it like that. And we'll keep telling the story as we see fit, and praying that people who may not want to be human beings right now, that they realize that's the best option, and that they start becoming human beings. That's my thing now. We all need to be human beings.
I bring that up, Donald, because Congo Square is very, very important to our culture because of the fact of slavery, traditions of the slaves who continued to play the music, the rhythms. What is the most important part of Congo Square as far as the social and the educational component?
Well, Congo Square was a place where people of African descent could participate in their culture. But the most important thing to me about Congo Square was it being a place of transcendence. So all human beings need to transcend moments of despair, of sadness, and anything, and a moment where you can be free. So everybody who heard that music, and everybody who hears the music that's produced afterwards, they all get that feeling So even if they're not human beings, they still follow the music because it's human. So it proves to everyone that you should be a human being.
One thing that I've noticed about the suite that you released, there's an oral component, there's a musical component, and there's a spiritual component to this. How do we do that? How do we keep that moving? Because right now I say that because when you listen to the music now, there's no spirituality going on. There's nothing, one seeks something higher now. And you being grounded in New Orleans and your legacy seems like that's something we're not dealing with anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think some young people and maybe some older people, if they feel something and it gives them that moment of transcendence, they will be awakened to their higher calling. So that's our job, to awaken ourselves and others to all of our higher calling.
We've got to do it again for this very special edition of the Pace Report, reporting live at this year's 2025 Syracuse International Jazz Festival. I'd like to personally thank the Big Chief and NEA Jazz Master, Donald Harrison, for his time. Make sure you support his upcoming Donald Harrison's Quantum Leap Music Festival, which is August 14th through 17th at Borghese Vineyard in Long Island. For more information, as well as prices, as well as directions, please go to his website at donaldharrison.com. Also, I'd like to personally congratulate and thank the incomparable Frank Malfitano, the artistic director for the Syracuse International Jazz Festival. As always, Uncle Frank, you have done a fantastic job. For more information on the 40th anniversary of the Syracuse International Jazz Festival, please visit them online at syracusejazzfest.org. Also, I'd like to personally thank the queen of the Syracuse Jazz Festival, Miss Kathy Rowe. Thank you for your warm hospitality as always. People, I can't stress this more than enough. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube and Vimeo. And follow me on social media by way of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.